Morning, everyone. This is a mindfulness practice today. Just start by lifting and rolling your shoulders and raising your right arm as you breathe in. Breathe out and turn your head away from your right arm towards the left. Breathe into the centre and breathing out, lower your right arm. Breathe in as you raise your left arm. Breathe out as you turn your head away from the centre towards the right. Breathe in as you bring your head back. And breathing out, lower your arm back down to the side and lift and roll your shoulders. Breathe in as you raise your arms, clasping and then reversing the palms upwards. Breathe out as you tip to one side. Breathe in as you come to the centre and stretch up. And breathe out as you go to the other side. Breathe in as you come to the centre and breathe out as you lower your arms back down alongside and then lift and roll your shoulders. A figure, imagine an 8, a horizontal 8, and using your nose to trace your figure of 8, moving your neck and head from side to side. So as you breathe in, lift your nose slightly, trace your 8, breathing out as your head moves down with control, breathing in as you come through the centre and breathing out as you lower your head back down and coming through the centre as you breathe in, circle on your 8, breathing out as you come down. Starting to breathe in as you come through, crossing the centre and up. And one more time. And then see if you can reverse directions. Your 8 goes in the opposite direction. Our minds tend to favour one side, so it's interesting changing directions. And then finish your 8 and bring your head back to the centre, bringing your hands together, and then coming down to the mat. To lie on the mat, your legs are stretched out. Make yourself comfortable. Extend your heels. And then as you inhale, raise your right arm above you. If you are able to lay your back of your hand on the ground, please do, but otherwise just stretch. Turn your head away from your right arm. Inhale back to the centre and breathing out, lower your right hand. Inhale, extend your left heel and raise your left arm above you. Breathing out, turn your head away from your left arm towards the right. Breathing in, bring your head back to the centre. And breathing out, lower your left arm. Breathing in, extend both heels and raise both arms above the head. Clasp and reverse your palms away from you. Your chin tucks down, the back of your neck is extended. Really stretch, and then when you're ready, start to breathe out, and then start to relax your arms back down along the side. Turn your palms up and move your hands slightly away from you, and just feel the opening in the shoulder. It's opening your lung meridians, points here, and take an in and an out breath. And then leaving your right leg where it is, bend your left knee in towards your chest. Check that your chin has not gone up to the ceiling, but that it is coming down, the back of your neck is long. And just enjoy this knee to chest pose, giving space along the lower left side. It's an Apana variation, and Apana is one of the foundational energies in yoga. If this is too much for you, you can always bend your right leg, which makes a softer movement, and you'll find perhaps that your left leg comes in further. Just enjoy this stretch. And then drop your hands behind your left thigh and begin to extend your left leg to the ceiling. You can keep a bend in your left knee and extend your left heel. Point your toes to the ceiling and extend your heel. Point your toes and extend your heel. And point your toes again and extend your heel. And then begin to circle your ankle in one direction. Doesn't matter which way you go, because we're going to reverse the circle and go in the opposite direction. This movement opens up the energy flow and circulation in our entire body. And then finish by stretching your toes and just relaxing. You can carry on by curling your toes in. Just be careful not to get cramped. Stretch your toes out and then either just relax them or curl them in. And then stretch them out again and just then release. And bend your knee into your chest. And then place your left foot back onto the floor and either keep your left foot there or extend your left leg along the ground. And bring your focus now to your right side as you hug your right knee into your chest. Just enjoy the stretching of the knee into the chest. Giving space on your right side, on your right hip. Your Apanasana variation on the right side. And then dropping your hands underneath your thigh as you begin to extend your right leg upwards. Extend your heel and point your toes. And then extend your heel and point the toes. And extend your heel and point your toes. And then circle your ankle in one direction. And then circle the ankle in the other direction. And now stretch your feet, extending your toes. And either relax your feet, or if you want to carry on tightening your feet, scrunching your toes in, then please do. Stretch your toes and then scrunch them in, or just release and relax them back again. And then one last time. And then bend your right knee in towards your chest once again. And place your right foot on the floor, stretching it out alongside you. Extend your left heel and then release. Extend your right heel and release. You're lying on the ground and you're just extending one heel and then the other heel. And you'll feel this opening in your hip. It creates almost a subtle space in the hip area. And then inhaling, raise your arms above your head and hold your thumbs. And you can cross your right ankle over your left and just move your hands in one direction. Come back to the centre and just move them in the other direction. Just stretch, but lying on the ground. And then keeping your hands above your head. Change the crossover of your ankle, so you cross your left ankle over your right. Extend your heels, and then once more just sway from side to side. Stretching out along the side. Come to the centre, uncross your ankles, and then breathing out, lower your hands back down alongside you. And then bring both knees up towards the ceiling as you place both feet on the floor and your feet are hip width apart. And then take your left leg and bend your left knee, hugging it once more into the chest. And then turn your left knee out to the left and place your left ankle on your right leg, so that your left knee opens out to the left side. And just very gently sway your knees from side to side. Your hands can be resting on your abdomen, or your hands can be resting on the floor. Just choose a comfortable position. You can even rest your left palm on the inside of your left thigh. And you can stay with this movement, or you can pick your right leg off the floor and clasp your hands underneath your right thigh. So you'll feel this stretch particularly in the left outer thigh. And that stretch that you're feeling can often be a muscle implicated in lower back issues. You can increase that stretch by hugging your right leg in towards you. And then breathing out, lower your leg back down to the ground, your right leg. And release your left leg. Your left foot also comes back to the ground, hands on the abdomen as you very gently sway your knees from side to side. And bringing your knees to the centre, pick up and hug your right knee in towards your chest once again. Open your right knee out to the side and placing your right ankle on your left leg. And again, choose where you'd like to place your hands, either on your abdomen or along your side, or maybe your right hand will rest on your inner right thigh. And just once more enjoy swaying your knees, both knees from side to side. Your hips will lift slightly on either side as you breathe. And then you can carry on doing this, or you can pick up your left foot, bring your hands through to clasp under your left thigh, and you'll feel this stretch on the outer right side of your hip. And you can increase this stretch by lifting your left leg and knee towards your face. You'll only go a couple of millimeters. It's a variation of pigeon, but you're lying on your back, creating a figure of 4. And then release both feet back down to the ground. Hands can rest on your abdomen as you once more sway from side to side. And then sway both knees over to the right. Roll to the right. And then very gently press your hand down as you come up and roll round to kneeling in cat-cow. So check that your knees are hip width apart and your shoulders, your hands are shoulders width apart. And dipping your back, either looking up or along the mat. Breathing out, rounding chin to chest. Inhaling, dipping your back. And then breathing out, rounding chin to chest. And once more, dipping your back. And then breathing out, rounding chin to chest. And this time, tuck your toes and come into a dog, downward facing dog, by bending your knees, putting your weight away from your hands as you lengthen your spine, and then begin to extend your legs. Feel free to be able to adjust your feet, and feel free also to keep a bend in your knees. And when you're comfortable, try walking the dog by bending one knee and extending the leg, and then bending the other knee. You can roll your hips from side to side as well, walking the dog. So this very familiar downward dog pose is an inversion and has many benefits. It's rebalancing. Any inversion rebalances the glandular system. And then bend both knees, extend your spine, and then straighten your legs. Your heels don't have to touch the ground. They can aim towards the ground. And then walk your feet to your hands or your hands to your feet. That brings you into a forward bend. And then pressing your feet into the ground as you roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. And then lifting and rolling your shoulders. And I'm going to stand with my back to you so that you can follow me a little bit better. If you step out your feet into a wide triangle, lift and roll your shoulders. Turn in your left foot to an angle of 45 degrees and turn your right foot out. If you look down, your front right heel, if you drew a line, would intersect with the middle of your left heel. So feel free to adjust your feet and feel comfortable. And just be aware that your back left heel, outer heel, is secure. It has a tendency to lift up. So softening your pose and coming into a warrior 2 by lifting your arms up and then lowering them to shoulder height. Looking beyond the third finger of the front right hand. And then straightening your knees and just coming in again to the warrior 2. If this is too much for your shoulders, then you can always bend your hands and put them on your waist. And then straightening your front right leg, lifting your right arm and looking up at your thumb. The eyes lifting up disconnects the eyes from the stress centres of the brain, so it becomes a mindfulness exercise. And then just release, coming back to warrior 2. Keep your hands where they are. Turn your right foot parallel to your left, and then turn your right foot in 45 degrees, your right heel will go out slightly, and turn your left foot forward, coming back to warrior two again. Soft on the other side, soften your front left knee now, and look beyond the third finger of your left hand. Straighten your leg, and then come back into warrior. It's a dynamic warrior. And just once more softening the knee of the left knee. And then dropping the right hand behind you, raise your left hand up and look at your left thumb. And then lower your hands. And bring your feet parallel. And then bring your feet together, and I'm going to turn round. So this is a variation of triangle. If you raise, your feet are hip width apart. If you raise your right hand, turning the arm inwards towards your ear, your left hand holds your left thigh to support you, and tilt over towards the left side. Your chin is in. Inhale, come up slightly. Breathing out, tilt over. You're not going to go very far, and you have a sensation that you're between two panes of glass so that you're not twisting too much. And then inhaling, coming up, and breathing out when you're ready, lower your arm. And then breathing in, raise your left arm, turn the arm so the inside of the arm faces the ear, and then your right hand holds your right thigh. Sliding to the right, chin in. Inhaling, coming upright. Breathing out, sliding to the right. Breathing in, coming up. And breathing out, sliding to the right. Breathing in, coming up. And breathing out, lowering your hand. Take your thumbs together, breathing in, raise your hands upwards. And just swaying palm tree, just go very gently from side to side. And then come to the centre and lower your hands. So balance. There are many ways to balance, and they again become a focus of mindfulness as you have to be in the present in order to maintain your balance. The brain doesn't cope too well with multitasking in that sense. You lose your balance. So just start by clasping your hands, reversing them and coming up. And a very simple balance is just to lift your heels off the ground. And then before you finally put your heels back down again, lower your heels so that they are a millimetre off the floor, and then release your heels back to the floor, release your hands downwards. So tree has many variations. You can have lying tree on the ground. This standing tree, which is more classic, can have your big toe on the floor and your heel resting against the other leg. You can go a little bit further and raise your heel up, or you can go right up. You can take support if you want to, and you can actually then take hold of your leg and bring it right up as well. Just make sure that your foot isn't against your opposite knee, or isn't resting on that. So take whichever variation you like. Your hands can be like finger and thumb together. They can be at the centre of the body in prayer, or if you're very balanced, you can raise your hands up. Wherever you want to be. My hands are clasped and my second finger, index fingers are extended. My left thumb is over my right. There's no right or wrong. And then breathing out, lower the hands. And then there's another option to take a dancer's position. Again, you can hold on. So you can just hold your right ankle and then lift your left hand into a dancer's pose and tilt forward. that suits you. You'll feel the stretch in the top of your leg. And then come out. The top of the leg, this part here, is very much part of your immune system. The white blood cells are manufactured in this one of those long bones. It's a major manufacturing site. So stretching here is quite good for your immune system. And then coming to the other side, adopting whichever tree variation is appropriate for you. And notice that the aim is to lift your chest. When we're out of balance, it's easy to come forward, but lifting your chest. And it's difficult to maintain your balance and think of things at the same time. That's why it's a mindfulness-based exercise. And then again, it's optional, if you'd like to come to your dancer's pose, you're welcome to hold on by lifting your left leg, stretching the left leg behind you, and then raising the right arm. Your right finger and thumb can touch, and you can lift your left leg behind you, and then ready when you're coming out. And just lift and roll your shoulders, and just very gently sway from side to side. And then just come to the centre, hands together, and come down now to lying on your front into a gentle Sphinx pose. So your elbows, you're resting on your elbows. The further your elbows move away from you, the softer the angle on the lower back. So come to adopt a comfortable position. Check that your shoulders are away from your ears as much as possible, that you're not tensing up. And just adjust, your feet can go out to the side just to feel comfortable, and then just readjust your heels back again. You can look down, which extends the back of your neck. And again, this comes into quite a calming pose. It's slightly forward in one sense, and yet you're lifting from the chest in the other sense. So it's almost a back bend as well. And the back needs to be moved in a number of directions. This is one of them. In restorative yoga, you'll stay here for quite a number of breaths or minutes. And then allow your elbows to go further out to the side, and you can make a pillow with your hands one on top of the other, or even fists. The pillow is good. And rest your forehead on your pillowed hands, perhaps turning your head to one side. Move your knees slightly further apart. Bend your feet at soles of the feet up to the ceiling, and then just very gently sway your feet from side to side. It's a windscreen shield wiper movement. Your body, of course, and skeleton is very supported by the earth, so it's a very supportive movement. Bring your feet to the centre, turn your head downwards, lower your feet down to the ground, maybe bring your knees closer together. Slide your hands out and bring them to your chest, your elbows are up. You can either come to child's pose classically by pressing down on your hands, lifting it up on your knees and coming back to child's pose. Or you can roll to the side, bending your knees in and then coming up. But classically in yoga you would come up, pressing your hands down. And coming to child's pose, you can have your knees wider apart, bringing your heels your bottom towards your heels. Classic child is head down and palms up behind you. But if that's too much for your head, or that's not quite so comfortable, you can bring your hands into fists or pillows and rest your forehead on your fists, your hands. And then you can also, as an alternative, stretch your hands forward, extended child, call this swan pose, whichever works for you. It's a forward movement, so it's very relaxing for the mind, but also, of course, it stretches you out along your lower back. Take a breath or two here, relaxing and just letting the energy settle in your body from the movement that we've made. And then gently slide your hands towards your knees as you kneel slightly up and come to the side and come to sitting in cobbler's pose. It's also called Baddha Konasana, bringing your toes together and holding wherever's comfortable. You can massage the insides of your feet. You can hold classically in front of your toes. You can massage the insides of your ankles. You can hold your shins, sitting up and just bouncing your knees. This opens, of course, your inner hips, but it also has an effect on your energetic pathways, your lymph or your immune system. There are lymph nodes here at the lower groin area, so you're giving space for those lymph as you're opening your legs in this position, this butterfly position. And then just support your legs as you bring your feet, stretching your feet out into a V. Just take the flesh out from under your bottom. Just touch your hands to the mat to lengthen your spine. And then inhaling, raising your arms above your head. You can hold your thumbs. Lower abdomen in towards your spine and engage your perineum. You can bend your elbows or come straight forward as you slide forwards into a forward bend. Your hands sliding in front of you. If you want to, you can just extend your hands wider to hold your shins. And if you've got the space and you're able to, you can hold your big toes, thumbs on top, second and third finger underneath the big toe, and come forward into a forward bend. So a forward bend again gives space along the spine, space between the vertebrae, but it also again reflects that it's a calming pose, calming for the mind as you come forward. And staying here as you take a breath in and out. And then sliding your hands up your legs. Bend your right knee and place the sole of your right foot towards the inside of your left leg. Extend your left heel. Hands either side of you just to lengthen your spine. Turn towards your left outstretched leg as you breathe in, raising your arms above your head. And then breathing out, you can either come straight over or bend at the elbows to slide your hands down your left leg. Janusasana, head to knee pose, opening your hip, it's a rotation and it's a forward calming pose. So it has three functions. Try and feel that you're lifting up from the base of your spine and you're bending from almost along the base of your spine rather than just bending at your waist. It gives a subtly different feel about the posture. And then inhaling, sliding your hands up your left leg, Support your right leg underneath as you stretch your right leg out again into a V. Just balance your legs to create vibrational energy. Lengthen your spine. And then bring your left sole of your foot towards the right inner leg, opening out. Lengthen your spine again, and breathing in, raise your hands above your head. Turn towards your outstretched right leg, your right heel's extended, and coming forward over the right leg. Janusasana on the right side. And then slide your hands up. Come to a cross-leg position. And once more, hands either side of you to lengthen the spine. And take your right hand to your left knee. Your left hand goes behind you. Press down as you breathe in and lengthen along your spine. And breathe out as you turn to your left side. Your head is the last thing to turn. Breathe in as you press your hand down, or your fingers down, and breathing out as you turn. And stay here for an in and an out breath. Inhale back to the centre. Hold your knees, lengthen upwards, and then bring your left hand to your right knee. Your right hand goes behind you. Press down with your right hand as you inhale, lengthening along the spine. And then breathing out, turn to the right side. Your right shoulder is relaxed away from the ear. Breathing in, press your right hand down, extending, and breathing out, turning. Take an in and an out breath. Come back to the centre, hold both knees, lengthen as you breathe in, and breathing out, just nod forwards, lengthening from the base of the spine. If you feel more comfortable, just place your fingers on the mat or the ground in front of you, please do. Just coming forward to counteract that previous rotation. And then bringing your hands back to your knees, sitting up, hands on the ground either side of you as you lengthen your feet out once more along the mat. Balance your knees, balance your legs. Circle your ankles again, one way and then the other way. And then move your hands slightly behind you so that you're lifting from the chest. And if that's good for your neck, with control, look up. Your eyes go upwards towards the ceiling. Again, we're reconnecting with the mindfulness aspect of this practice and disconnecting the eyes from the stress centres of the brain. With control, you're not throwing your head back, it's a controlled lifting from the chest. Take an in and an out breath. And then come back. And then come to lying on your back. Knees bent. Hugging both knees into the chest. Just rocking from side to side. And if you're able to, just rock both knees. You're lifting up totally on from the hip. Rock to the right. And then open your left arm, your left shoulder. Might not get to the floor, but you have a sense of opening your left shoulder. You can place your left hand on your waist. Your right hand can go on the outside of your left thigh. And you can either look up at the ceiling or look to the left. either looking up to the left corner or turning your head further and looking along the ground. Breathing in and out. Come back, hugging your knees into your chest, rocking from side to side again. And then this time, roll completely to the left. Your right hand goes on your right waist, your left hand goes on the outside of your left. The left hand goes on the outside of your right thigh. And then turn your head away from your knees, looking either up or along the mat, depending on what feels good for you. And again, the same principle applies, that you just slightly bring your shoulders away from your ears, or your ear on the right side. Just take an in and out breath. And then come back to the centre. You're hugging your knees into the chest once more. Still holding your knees. Let your knees move away from you to arm's length. Breathing out, hug the knees in towards the chest. Breathing out, let the knees drift away. And once more, hug the knees into the chest. And keep them hugged in as you just gently rock from side to side. And then support your legs, perhaps underneath, as you bring both feet down to the ground. And then extend your legs along the floor. Spend a moment or two in rest, or shavasana. It's also called corpse pose. Classically, your hands would be upturned, palms upwards, which opens you at the shoulder level and accesses the lung meridian points in the body. But you can also have your hands on your abdomen with your elbows outwards, if that you prefer that. Or you could rest one hand on your abdomen and one hand at your heart level. And you can also choose to bend your knees if you prefer this. With your feet on the floor, and maybe bring your knees together in constructive rest. So choose a position that works for you. And take a moment to be aware of where you are on the mat. Take a moment to have a thought for the day. This can be for you, or it can be for somebody else, your sankalpa. And think that thought a couple of times to reinforce it. And then let it float away. You set your intention. And bring your attention to your feet and the space beyond your feet. Moving your attention to the backs of your feet and the heels, ankles. Release and relax, let everything go. Moving your attention along your lower legs, your shins and your calves. Release and relax. The tops of the knees and the backs of the knees, release and relax. The thighs, backs of the thighs, hips. Let your hips relax heavy on the ground. And moving your attention now to the lower abdomen. Release. Moving up through the internal organs to your chest and up further past your heart to the collarbones, and let your collarbones soften and spread along the floor, opening at your shoulders. And then follow along both arms from the shoulders down to the elbows, inside the elbows and the back outside of the elbows. And follow your attention along the forearms, down to the wrists and the hands, the backs of the hands and the palms, the thumbs, the fingers, and the space beyond the fingers. And bring your attention now to your lower back, following a line from the base of your spine, all the way along the spine, lumbar, through the spine, going up to between the shoulder blades, right up to the neck, the back of the neck, the back of the head, the space between the ears, the top of the head and the forehead. Smooth in your mind across your eyebrows and down to your eyes as they relax, falling back. And then extend your focus along the cheekbones and down along the jaw, touching again on the ears and once more the space between the ears, and moving down along the jawline, dropping to the throat. Come back to move up centrally from the chin to the lips and teeth. And then rest your attention at the base of the nostrils and breathing in. Imagine breathing in fine air like mist to a point that you imagine to be in the centre of your head. And breathing out, mist the air like an internal shower all the way down you, removing any blockages both physically and mentally, and misting everything down, leaving through the soles of your feet, going back to the earth. And breathing in again, through the base of the nostrils, and follow the breath to the centre of your head. And that internal shower mists everything down through the body. And you put into it anything you don't want, any niggles or pains, any thoughts you don't want. Let it all go in as you mist down through the body, and it leaves through the soles of the feet. And now choose a colour, any colour that resonates with you today. And as you breathe in, imagine breathing in that misted coloured air to a point in the centre of your head, and like a shower, the coloured air mists all the way down through the body, leaving once more through the soles of the feet and going back down to the earth. And now imagine wrapping your body inside and out, a little bit like a boric egg, with your coloured air, conferring protection for the rest of the day. And you can stay here releasing and relaxing and enjoy this time for yourself, or you can become aware once more of being on the mat and parts of your body that connect to the floor, and then make any movement that feels good for you. Perhaps move your fingers and toes. Maybe hug your knees into your chest once more and just rock again from side to side. And then very gently rolling over to the right. And taking a moment to stay here, just to readjust your body to the movement that you've made. And if you are going to come up very gently, pressing your left hand down to support you to come back up, taking your time so that there's no sudden movement. You're adjusting gradually to sitting upright once more. And bringing your hands to your heart centre, take a bow for yourself for the day ahead.